On our show today, we will be having George W. Bush, a normal teenager from Farmington Hills, Michigan. He was in ninth grade when he met Jordan Ramsey. Jordan was a partier. He loved to go to parties and drink, and sometimes, to enhance the excitement of the already dangerous activity, he would use the drug ecstasy. When George started hanging out with Jordan, he felt the pressure to follow in his footsteps. He started going to parties and using ecstasy. At first, it was just on the weekends, but then he started using it every day because he got addicted to the feeling. He liked how his confidence went up and how he had so much energy. Although at times it was great, friends and family members started to notice George change. He couldn't remember anything. He had anxiety and sleep problems. Finally, his parents started investigating and finally figured out the cause of all this change, but it was too late. Hello, my name is Dr. Gabby, and today we're going to be talking about ecstasy and its effects. I would like to welcome our first guest, Dr. Jon. Hi, welcome to the program.
Hello, Gabby. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. Can you first start off by telling us what ecstasy is commonly known as?
Ecstasy is commonly known as Purple Heart, Skittles, and Hug Drug.
Wow, that's very interesting. I didn't know that. How is ecstasy taken?
Ecstasy is usually taken through the mouth using a pill, and it looks just like this. It takes 15 to 20 minutes to start working and roughly lasts about 3 to 6 hours.
Wow. I've heard that since ecstasy is a man-made drug, people who make it tend to stamp it with logos that look kid-friendly. Is that true?
That's absolutely true. People tend to think the drug looks harmless, but that's 100% false.
Can you tell us how many people ecstasy kills in the U.S. and how many people take ecstasy in the U.S.?
Well, roughly 14 million people in the U.S. use ecstasy, and people don't overdose from ecstasy. They usually die from dehydration and hypothermia.
Wow, thank you so much for coming on the show today. You were
No problem.
very intelligent. I would now like to welcome the star of our show, George W. Bush.
Hi, Gabby. How are you?
Good, how are you, George W. Bush?
I'm fantastic.
Thank you.
Gee, Gabby, I've been clean for 4 years now, and I'm starting to get my life back.
Wow, that's great. Can you tell me about your addiction to ecstasy?
I would love to. Well, I was a shy kid. I didn't have many friends at all. I just started high school, and I wanted to fit in. So when I met Jordan, I didn't want to embarrass myself. I didn't want to look cool. I started going to parties and using ecstasy every weekend. At the time, it was great, but I started hurting myself, my friends, and my family. I tried to quit, but I couldn't. I liked the feeling too much.
I see. I've seen many cases of teens getting so addicted to a drug, and then when they try and quit, they can't. Now we're going to bring out Jordan. We will be back with Dr. Gabby after this commercial break. Welcome to our show, your friend Jordan.
My friend.
Hey, what's going on?
Good to meet you, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan. Jordan, can you please tell us how you and George decided to stop using ecstasy?
Decided to stop using. George's parents started to notice the changes in his behavior and appearance. They figured out what he was doing and forced him into rehab. It left me alone. It started using more and more, and one day my parents found me passed out on the floor. That's when they finally knew I was taken to rehab for 3 years.
Was it hard to stop using while you were in rehab?
Yes, some days physically I would be tired, I would get headaches, I would look awful, but then others, mentally, I would just crave the feeling. It was so hard.
While I was in rehab, I hated my parents for making me go. All I wanted to do was go back in time.
I can only imagine. Today we have invited George's parents to the show, Mr. and Mrs. Bush.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, Dad.
So glad to be here. Hi, welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Can
you,
you
Dad.
start off by telling us how you noticed that George was on ecstasy?
I first started to notice the physical signs. He was moody, he was always up, and he just couldn't seem to remember things. I just thought it was a teenage thing at first, but then I saw the social effects. He was hanging out with different friends, he was talking to us less, and he started doing poorly in school.
We were worried, but we didn't know what to do. It was hard enough accepting the fact that our son was involved in drugs. When we finally figured out the cause of all this, when we found a rehab and sent him there, we were just happy it was us who found out and not the police.
Me too! And I'm so thankful that my family cares so much about me to help me like this. You know, Dr. Gabby, some people just aren't as lucky.
Did you know ecstasy is a hallucinogen? When you are on it, you feel like you can do anything. You feel on top of the world, and the effects that it causes just don't seem to faze you. Nausea, sweating, and blurred vision just seem normal. Ecstasy is usually not what kills you. When on ecstasy, you don't feel hungry or thirsty. You get so dehydrated. Usually you have to go to the hospital. Seizures and hypothermia are also very common while using ecstasy.
You don't understand the effects ecstasy has on your body until you are clean. And even if you do, you don't really care.
Well, thank all of you guys so much for joining us on the show today. I hope you learned a lot. And remember, if you're struggling with the ecstasy addiction, Sequoia Recovery Center is located in Pontiac, Michigan. Look for the address and phone number at the bottom of your screen.
Thanks for having us, Dr. Gabby!
Join us next time when we talk about the effects of alcohol. Until then, remember, hugs, not drugs. Yay!
Dr. Gabby is brought to you by Mrs. Lane's Health Class.
Ecstasy is known as the hug drug.
Very intelligent.
I am
I was a shy kid. Hi, Gabby.
Hi, George W. Bush.
My life back.
That's great. Can you tell me about your addiction to ecstasy?
Gabby.
Hi, George W. Bush.
What is your deal?
What's wrong with you, Gabby?
In my head. Hi, George W. Bush. How are you?
Flashback.
Okay, ask me how I am. That's okay. Fine.
Okay.
You're laughing. I can't look at your face. Okay.
More and more, and one day my parents found me passed out on the floor. That's when they finally knew.
You have to look at us, Freeman.
The ecstasy is a hallucinogen.
Hallucinogen.
You know, the ecstasy is a hallucinogen.
I'm gonna let that Josh. Sean, you tell me.
Hallucinogen. Yeah. Sweating and
Blur vision, death.